Hey folks, welcome to Bear Mountain. Today we're doing a little bit of a early start on some potatoes. One of the things that we've noticed with food kind of being maybe a little more dicey this year than in past, and we're trying to expand how much we're doing on gardens and food, that we decided to take advantage of some space that we have in the back of our crate house that right now is going to be open for a couple of months until we need to do more fertilizer buckets. But so we decided we're going to take some of the potatoes that we had from last year. These were kind of, I guess you would say, the ones that you didn't boil up, and we just they were in storage, so they kind of started to sprout. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some early, these are all early varieties. And right now it's, today is 8th of March, somewhere around in there. Second week of March. So we're still pretty cold on the outside trying to get, potatoes to sprout and things like that. We still get freezing nights. And so we're at least maybe 3 weeks away from where we are before we could plant potatoes out in the garden and the ground itself. And what we're trying to do is the extra heat that we have in here and raising these potatoes in a crate, we should be able to start getting some new potatoes, I would hope, by early to mid-May. Since these guys are kind of, already sprouting and getting ready to go. So this crate system is really pretty easy. These are old bulb crates, and the size of the crate, it's about 10 inches deep, and they're about 22 inches long and about a little less than, maybe about 14-inch wide. Right around in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put at least 5 plants in each crate, and the thought process here is that as they sprout, what we'll do is we'll take some mulch and put over the top to kind of keep these crates from drying out, but it'll also allow the potatoes to grow maybe a little more bigger, because most potatoes, when they actually grow, they grow actually closer to the surface. They tend to grow outwards, whereas a sweet potato will grow down. An actual regular potato grows outwards. So the crates themselves are filled with compost, our own compost, probably about 30%, and the other 2/3 of it is urban compost. So we're also going to amend the crates a little bit with rock dust, and then as we fertilize, we're going to be using the Jadam liquid fertilizer, grass fertilizer on these guys, probably at least during their growing stage. Hit them like once every 10 days with probably a dilution that's right around 1 to 200. That seems to work pretty good for us. And this is kind of the first time we've ever raised potatoes doing it this way, but we know that there's lots of examples of people who are raising potatoes like in grow bags, and this is kind of the same idea, where you're raising them in a pot. So like if you have a balcony or something like that, you don't have an actual garden space, this is kind of in a way that you can do this and get some potatoes for yourself. Now, I know most people say, well, why would do potatoes? Potatoes are dirt cheap. You can just go to the store and get a bag of them for, $3 or $4 or whatever it is. But I think what the problem is going to be with a lot of stuff is, particularly commercially raised food products, fertilizer prices are going through the roof. And I think, just as if you got the garden space and you got the time, or you got the other things to do that you can raise food, you should take the opportunity to do it. And particularly, this is going to be like a pretty low work area. We have access to water. We got climate control with a extra space in a crate house, greenhouse, and these guys should grow pretty good.
Question.
Yep.
Where do you get the crates?
The crates we've acquired over time. Okay, you don't have to use crates. Okay, you could use anything. You could use pots. There are companies that sell these kind of like poly weave bags they call grow bags, and they work excellently. So you could use just about anything that will hold, at least a cubic foot or so of soil, and then, that'll give the plant enough room to grow and put on spuds. Well, what I'm kind of thinking is I'm going to plant these guys in tents, because I'm going to be harvesting these guys at a smaller size. I'm not going for the max, Whopper potatoes that are 1 pound. What we're trying to get to is something that would probably be twice as big as this. So the idea is it would be kind of a boiler in a sense, or maybe even can it if we wanted to do that. But the idea is getting fresh, and the thought process here is this would be the first of the early potatoes, and then the ones we plant out in the field would come on in June, July, and then there are other like mid-season potatoes that kind of come in the middle to late summer, and then there's the late russets that come on in September. We may even be able to circle back around come late summer and take some of these earlier potatoes and get a second crop, because last summer what we found was potatoes that we missed harvesting from the compost potato. We did a video of growing potatoes in a compost pile. We actually accidentally missed some of the smaller guys. Well, they resprouted once the fall rains came at the end of August and the early part of September, and it was warm enough, and they actually grew on, and they were actually starting to put on spuds. And so, but they weren't protected. So once the freezing weather hit, they kind of died out. But we actually dug more potatoes out of that and ate a couple of them, and they were great.
They were really good.
It's like having new potatoes in October was kind of cool, and that was just done by accident.
The potatoes we took out of the compost pile were excellent. The sweet potatoes got destroyed.
Yeah, we needed a better protection on it, because we knew that they were kind of tasty for deer, but we didn't realize that they would just camp in it and mow it down to like nothing.
Right.
And they did it like in one night. I mean, it was like beautiful the day before, beautiful leaves on it, they look great, and then we come out the next morning and there's nothing but stems. And they never recovered from that point. So.
I'm going to get back to answering the question of where we got the crates, because I know people will ask.
Oh, right.
For 19 years of growing flowers, and these crates is the tulips, lilies, glads.
Basically, since we're buying bulbs wholesale.
Well, they
would come delivered in these crates.
They'd come in these crates, and that's why when you look behind him, and there's other places around the farm.
I use them for.
They're stacked everywhere.
Stackable, because the cool thing about these guys is they're stackable.
So where would you get them other than getting them when you order bulbs? In large quantities, like tulip bulbs come in 500s for us, and they come in these crates. Any kind of nursery place is where you would find them. Greenhouse operation, that kind of thing. They use them.
Yeah. And they're very UV resistant. They last a long time.
But they may have extras, so you want to check there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get them, or go find some flower farm that's
going out of business.
Going out of business or retiring.
Or just plain old everyday has too many of them.
Yeah. So that's where we get them.
So what we're going to do is just kind of, the only real amendment I'm putting into these crates is just some basalt rock dust, or if you had azomite, that would work too. That's just for some base minerals in it. And again, this is mostly compost. I would anticipate that these potatoes will grow vegetatively pretty well. And the thing I guess I want to be careful about is maybe if we have to watch our fertilization, that we don't go too far in terms of getting too much vegetative growth and attract aphids, but hopefully that won't be the problem. And so it'll probably won't take too long for these guys to germinate. And what I also did too is I put a layer of empty bulb crates underneath it. So underneath it, this will kind of give it a little bit of, it won't be affected by the coldness of the ground this time of year. But they should be, be able to get a little more warmth in it during the daytime in it. And then it'll be easy to just cover it with some fabric cloth if we need to, if it gets cold, we get too much of a cold snap. And I think that's really the basics of it. What we did to line the bottom of the crates is, now you could use newspaper or cardboard or anything like that to keep, material from falling through. But what I did is I just had some old maple leaves from last winter or last fall, and they were kind of semi-rotted but matted down. And so I just put about a 1/2-inch layer of them in the bottom of the crates to kind of seal the holes in the crates so that when we water, the dirt won't run through. And that's not really complicated. So what we hope to get is, if I put 5 of these in a crate, I'm hoping that each plant will produce 1 pound to 2 pounds, so that maybe we get a good 10 pounds of potatoes in each crate. And that's a good start. So I got 6 crates here, so that could be 50, 60 pounds of new potatoes.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and
Love new potatoes.
New potatoes are great. And like I said, we're not going to raise these guys on to be, monster potatoes. That's not the point. I mean, I'm sure, you're always going to get one that got away from you and got big, but there isn't a whole lot of space, in here for that sort of thing. So it's the intensity of it and trying to get to, new potatoes, small potatoes.
Yeah. Yum.
Okay. This is just 2 varieties. This is Red Norland, and the other one was, oh gosh darn, it's not Yukon.
Pinto?
I do have, no Pintos in here, but it was a white, similar to a Kennebec, but it was an earlier.
Elba?
Yeah, I think that was it. Elba, that's right, it was Elba.
Trying to think of what I've ordered.
So I'm just going to plant these guys in, not too super deep, because as they come up, what I'll be able to do is just put a little more compost over the top.
I was wondering if you're going to keep adding layers of something, straw.
Straw, yeah. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put mulch over the top, so ultimately it'll be kind of like
it'll
up
be
about.
more heaping.
Right. So I'm kind of putting them in kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And clearly I will have lots of extra potatoes. But this is kind of an experiment.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking if this works out well, then maybe for
this will become part of what we do.
a fall planting, we'll do lots more.
I mean, if I can get early new potatoes.
I want to make sure I have a nice good mixture of reds and whites.
It doesn't matter mixing them in the crate, does it?
No, because you're going to be able to tell a red from a white.
Yeah. How are you going to water?
Just by hand at this point, because it's only 6 crates.
Okay.
So.
But if you wanted, you could have hooked it up the.
Yeah, if we were doing a lot more of them, we could hook a like a drip tape system to it, and that would work just as well. It's just a matter of this. Oh, I gotta see, I got a cat. That's the other thing we have to protect against, is cats using this as a litter box. But I have a little trick, at least until they germinate. What I'll do is I'll simply take a crate and stack it over the top, because they don't need a lot of light until they germinate. And then once they germinate, we'll put a couple of hoops over this guy, and we'll put some of that bird netting that most people have seen at home centers and things like that. Okay.
So, really super excited about new potatoes. Just an experiment, so we don't know how this will work.
No, don't put caveats on it. Now you're jinxing it, man.
No, I'm not jinxing anything. I'm just saying that this is one of our experiments again. So, what do you think?
I think these are going to work really well, because it's like I said, we're not going for huge potatoes. What we're doing is the mulch on top. They'll all grow on the top, so that'll be cool. And one of the things we might be able to do is just like snitch a few too as it's going.
Yeah.
So, anywho, yeah, after I do the last 2, we'll just wet it down, and then I'll put some empty bulb crates over the top, and we'll just keep an eye on it for a couple of weeks. And I think those should sprout pretty fast. We'll do some YouTube shorts as they go along, so you can kind of see what the follow-up looks like. And I encourage folks, plant food if you can this year, because I think, particularly if you're a gardener and you like your own fresh food, it's always better anyway.
These are going to be so good if it works.
Okay, well, if you got any questions?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for watching. Stay safe in these crazy times, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.